back on Leo. We've got for the week of October 20th, Leo, have some hard work that you're putting in, but that also means that you may be working with somebody else or a number of other people for that matter. But regardless of the work that you're putting in, you also have to acknowledge what it is that other people are putting in as well. And well, there is this energy of trying to nurture everything forward, put everything into a position where it can grow. There is someone who may be trying to manage everything financially. You may end up calling into question whether or not they're doing the right thing, though. And because the Empress is there in the center, yes, there is growth opportunity here, but growth for who? Is it possible that this person over here, this Queen of Pentacles, is taking the hard work that you're putting in and taking some of that maybe financial support that you're putting in and investing it onto something or someone that you're not aware of? Ask questions this week, Leo. And we are going to move on to the who is after Leo? Virgo. So for Virgo, the week of October 20th, we've got the Four of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. You may be making some kind of progress and going through what you consider to be a gateway to where you think that you can kind of pull everybody's energy toward your own goal. That may not be the case. You could see yourself as a visionary and as a leader because you refuse to be questioned. You refuse to acknowledge what other good points that other people are bringing up, and that's not a leader. Now, whenever we're in this position, Virgo, with the King of Wands and the famous 1111 card, right? What did you leave behind? You may find that you left some partnerships behind during this week, looking back at it. And even though you did it with this idea, with this kind of fire in your gut, going towards something, you could put yourself in a position where you're testing your own faith. Like, yes, I started out with all this gumption, all this energy, all of these great ideas, and now it's like, well, I crossed a lot of those off the list because they weren't practical, they didn't meet my needs, and they weren't as fun as I thought they were going to be. And now you're kind of looking at what else that you've got, and was this really worth it? Were these decisions worth it? And the Knight of Wands can also be my card of tall fences build good neighbors, but did you divide yourself from something else that may have been more necessary than you thought it was in your life? And now we are on to Libra. I was picking up the pen for a reason. So, Libra, for this week, we've got the Knight of Swords, the Two of Cups, and the Knight of Wands. So, it always feels like this knight is headed back to something that they have already done before. And as much as they are action oriented, they have to backtrack. They have to go back and clean up something and deal with something that maybe they thought was already dealt with. But at the same time, they're trying to uphold somebody else's beliefs, somebody else's ideals about how something should have gone, how something should have benefited them the first time around. And it's quite likely that you or someone that you're dealing with is really being influenced by an outside source because the Knights, and you've got two of them here for this week, the Knights are, even if they don't realize it, working on somebody else's behalf. They know what they're doing. They know what kind of situation they're walking into, which is why they're wearing armor and which is why they brought their own car, right? They got themselves there. They're going to get themselves out. And these are both facing the past. So keep that in mind. Why are you going back to something? And are you going to end up going back to the same person, the same situation, the same job just to have the same damn argument? Because with the Two of Cups, there is a connection that's coming into question here, but it may be kind of questioning what do you really want to be in a connection with? Is it only surface level? Is it, because we've got the two kind of, I want to say ephemeral, but I'm not finding the word for it. The two elemental signs that you can't really put your hands on. You have the Knight of Wands, which is fire, and the Knight of Swords, which is air. And yeah, you can have them both in a jar. You can have them around you, but unless the fire is on a coal or a piece of wood or something, you can't really handle it, and you're not handling it directly. So, is there something that you want to be in connection with that you don't really want to want to be associated with that you don't really want to handle? Because it feels like there's a connection here, Libra, that you want to be involved with because it looks good or it sounds good or it feels good for the moment, but in the long run you're only doing it because a third party suggested it. An outside source decide to say, hey, you should go do this. You should contact them. You should reconnect with them. You should do this. You should do. I hate those you should do people. Why should I do that? Why do you feel like you have enough information to tell me I should go do that? Because likely they're not truly informed about why it is that you're not in connection with that person anymore. And you are. That's why you're coming in with armor or somebody else's. Yeah, somebody else could be coming in on somebody else, someone, even a further person that's distance from you, on their behalf or for their purpose. And yeah, they know what they're walking into, and their expectations are low. So I don't know. I really want to say they go low, you go high, but it's gonna be real tempting to meet them on their level. And now moving on to from Libra. I can't remember who's after Libra. Scorpio. I know of Scorpios. I don't know why I can never remember that Scorpio is after Libra, but we've got for the week 3 cards and 5 of Swords. I really want to say that you could be dealing with a Cancer somehow this week, Scorpio, because Cancer had the 5 of I want to get this suit wrong. The 5 of Wands for their first card for the week, and you have the 5 of Swords. So you're coming in with passion, and you could be coming in with what you think is correct information, but it may not be correct information. Ensure that what it is that you're acting on is true. It's quite possible that somebody else was trying to kind of weave some lies and pass them off as truth, and you were kind of backing them up. But in the end, it's likely that you're going to see that other person as a bully, not the Cancer, but the other person, possibly an Aquarius. And it's kind of like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Are you going to want to drown in the river or do you want to drown in the ocean? And there is a possibility for you to leave this behind and put yourself on solid ground, but you're still going to have to deal with the emotion that's been brought in by this communication that has been two faced. it's definitely been two-faced, and that being said, it could be a Gemini that was telling you this, and you are going to be on solid ground by the end of the week, Scorpio. However, how you get there is going to be a question of you looking at what step do I need to take next. Not looking too far ahead, but what step do I need to take next to get myself onto solid ground to be able to make a true decision, not a reactionary decision, not a kind of road rage reaction, because that's really what this feels like right here. I'm not seeing any road rage incidents, but it's like every time you're trying to have a conversation with someone, it's like they're trying to bait you, and it's not even one person. It's just maybe the kind of state of mind that you're in this week, where you're trying to get something done. It's like, hey, how you doing? You want to go out for drinks? And you're like, no, I'm trying to get this done. It's 9:30 in the morning, Sam. Leave me alone. Let me get let me do my work. And you are trying to get through all this so you can start looking much farther in the future. So keep that in mind, and do all these small steps so that you can get to where you need to go. Next week, you will be able to make bigger, more kind of grandiose actions, but right now you need to focus on the small things, regardless of the kind of conflict that somebody else may be trying to bring you. And Sagittarius. Like anybody other than me can read my handwriting, right? But for Sagittarius this week, we have the Seven of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, and the Five of Cups. What is it you've invested in, whether it's people or something financial, Sagittarius? You could find that you're kind of trying to cash back in on your investment. Like you may be trying to cash something in, and you may be kind of getting manipulated to do this. You're trying to figure out if this is going to be worth it or if you should wait. And if you have any kind of doubt about whether or not you should do this, that should be your answer. Because I feel if you're being pushed to make a decision by somebody else, that you're going to regret it. Wait. If somebody is trying to have you make a decision, that is your sign to wait. And they're trying to blind you to something. Maybe what is it that they're they're doing behind the scenes or their true intentions, and you're going to really feel a certain type of way about this in the end if you do start to nibble off of what you're keeping back. Don't let them know anything else about it. Like, yeah, you have a savings account, but you're not going to tell them how much is in it. Yeah, they've yes, you have this put back or you have that investment, something like that, and nobody else knows about it. Don't let them know about it. You've been keeping it secret for a reason. And it's not that you're keeping it secret, it's just that they don't need to know. So for Capricorn, Capricorn, here we go with your three cards, and Page of Wands, Nine of Cups, and the Eight of Wands. Trying to light the fire under yourself to get something moving, but at the same time, you may be too focused on how things appear. Like you want to wash the car and shine the hubcaps and everything like that before you start to make this move. However, ensure that you're coming in with substance rather than just kind of the pomp and circumstance. Don't come in with the parade. It's going to be more important that you come in as yourself than looking a certain way, because once you come in as you are, it's going to benefit you more and things are going to move a lot faster. It's going to be easier for you to make decisions, and it's likely some resources will come in that will benefit you in the long run. Because even you know that you have potential here, but you may have been holding on to it and feeling like you're running out of time now. Like you've been holding back this long, now it's time for you to finally make that move. That's not to say you don't have to plan anything out here, but you do have to have a general direction. And I think you've already got it. It's just a question of kind of prettying it up, polishing the silver. So know what you got and know what you're coming in with. That's going to be more important than making it look pretty. You can make it look pretty later. You can design the product now, and then you can make it make it pink and fuchsia and neon green, whatever the hell you want to later. And we are on to Aquarius. So, with the Wheel of Fortune, Aquarius, you're going to be obtaining what you want at the beginning of the week. And it feels like you have put a lot of work into getting what you want here. And even with the Hermit coming up in the middle, you've been holding back what you really wanted to get out of a situation. But it's like the further you look into this gift or this opportunity, the better that it keeps getting. And like there was a list of requirements, a list of attributes that you wanted something to have, and you're secretly back there like checking off everything and getting more and more excited about it, and realizing that this isn't just some of what you wanted, it's not kind of what you wanted, but it's everything that you wanted, even down to like the paint color or the hair color or stuff like that. So by the end of the week that you will be celebrating possibly with other people, but it doesn't feel so much that it's going to involve other people, but you'll be able to move through crowds a little bit easier. You'll be able to move through situations a little bit easier because of this Wheel of Fortune. And even though it doesn't feel like it's the lottery or some kind of big financial windfall like that, it's really like you've been looking for something and you have this set of criteria and you finally just happen to get wind of something. You happen to kind of go down a rabbit hole on the internet and find what it is that you've been looking for. So, possible that this could lead to some reunions too. So, if it's a person that you've been looking for, it looks like you will find them this week. But this meeting, this celebration in person, if it involves that person, it doesn't feel like it's going to happen until Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So, moving on to Pisces. Pisces, for the week of October 20th, we've got the Wish card. We've got the Nine of Cups. Now, it's quite possible that you're going to be the man behind the curtain that's kind of granting wishes, gaining kind of a satisfaction from seeing things being fulfilled. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be fulfilling things for everyone around you. And that's certainly not a sign that you need to ignore anything you need yourself, but it's if you've been looking for something, if you've been wishing for something to line up in a certain way, it seems as though that's what's going to happen, and it could be because of the assistance or being and some kind of connection with this Queen of Wands. This may also just be a part of yourself where you're determined and you're focused, hyper focused on obtaining some kind of success. And it's like, no, that's mine. And I'm going to go sit on it. That's my throne. I'm going to go sit on it. And I'm good. I don't need to move. With this death card coming up too, it's going to, because it really does feel as though this is going to be success with the Nine of Cups and the Queen of Wands. There's going to be success that's going to lead to you being able to end something and start up a few things. It's not going to be change or transformation that you're undergoing. It's more going to be other people are going to transform how they see you. They're going to change their opinion of you. And it's not that they're going to transition or that they're going to change either, but there is a warning associated with this. There's a warning associated with this death card coming in at the end of the week for you. And it's not an actual death or anything like that. It's going to be beware of why people change their idea of you so easily. Like before, they didn't think that they could use you for anything. They didn't think they could get anything out of you. They didn't think that they could use you beyond a certain point, and then all of a sudden they find something else out about you, and it's like, oh, well, they can do this. Well, then I can use them for that. One of the things that I heard a few times from a few different sources, skilled laborers who are kind of going into a job and their contract, they can choose who they work for and who they don't work for. And they have skills and they know their value. Know your value this week, Pisces. And if someone uses the language that you don't like, that you don't agree with, then you don't have to work with them. You don't have to work with them. And the entire point of me saying that is that whenever somebody uses language like, well, yeah, I could use you for this job. No, you're going to be working with me. And if you don't think of it like that from the get-go, then we don't need to work together. Because if you're just gonna hire me on and boss me around, I have my skill set. I know what I'm doing, and that's what you're hiring me for. If you want to do it your way, then you can do it yourself. So, and now we are on to Ophiuchus. So, Ophiuchus, I normally do you first, but then I totally don't know why I spaced on doing Ophiuchus. I've pretty religiously done you guys, but um, from the beginning of the channel. But we've got the Hanged Man and the Sun and the Emperor, all major arcana here for you today, Ophiuchus, and it's for the week of October 20th. You could find that you're much better off starting this week by not doing anything, just kind of observing what's going on around you and making changes behind the scenes that other people don't know about. Not everyone needs to know what it is that you're doing, and I think you realized that quite a while ago. You're going to take much more pleasure in just being rather than waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to get a reaction out of anybody, because the sun doesn't do that, right? The sun just kind of sits there. We just happen to revolve around it. And it's going to lead you to get more respect from those that you've been dealing with and that you will be working with in the future. Even if you're not trying to put that out there, you are giving off that leadership energy where almost as though the structure that you're creating in which to do things is a protective kind of a force, like things need to be done this way. And with Ophiuchus being involved, things will be done that way because they'll keep everybody on track. They'll ensure that everything is focused on what needs to be done and is acting as practically as possible. So, thank you guys for tuning in. That is going to be it for the weekly readings. And if you're looking for Aries through Cancer, there is another video, and I will link that to this here whenever I get off the live and make everything public. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope that you subscribe and like the content that I put up here, and check back at the channel for your dailies. I am trying to put them all up in a post, so hopefully everything is going to be linked.